Welcome to this video on time management. The goal of this video is to help you create a weekly study plan that has sufficient quantity and quality of study time, as well as creating a plan that is reasonable and sustainable. The first step to creating a time budget is to list all of your obligations. This is similar to if you're creating a financial budget, you would list all of your expenses. You want to be as thorough as possible. So here's a very brief example of, for example, my weekly responsibilities. So as you can see, I have work, chores, errands, family, working out, eating, fun, and rest. Make sure you budget everything, not just the things that seem like chores, like work and errands. Make sure you budget everything. So pause this video and make a list of all of the things that you have to do during the week and try to create a very rough estimate of the number of hours each activity takes. Don't unpause this video until you've completed this list. Now that you have a list of the obligations or the things that are going to take up time during the week, now you can complete the calendar and fill in those activities throughout the week. If your work schedule or other responsibilities vary from week to week, just simply try to estimate a normal or average week so that you can see if you have enough time to dedicate to this class. So the plan or the purpose of creating this schedule is not to follow it to the T every single week, but rather, again, just like a budget, to make sure that you're not spending more money than you actually have in your bank account. Likewise, we need to make sure that we're not planning to spend more time than we actually have in a given day or a given week. So this document is posted in Brightspace, or it might have been given to you as a paper if you have a face-to-face class. So you can either do this electronically if you'd like to use Microsoft Excel, or you can just write this down on paper. So again, you're just going to type in whatever your obligations are, and you can, if you need to, if you're doing this electronically, you can merge cells. So for example, let's say I have some activity that's going to go from 8:30 to 10, so then I can hit merge and center and again type in whatever that is. Okay, so let me show you a sample schedule here. So this is just an example of some student that I made up. It's just completely fictional. So as you can see that they have work that they go to 4 days a week. They have to commute to work and home for whatever reason. I don't know why their commute to work is longer than their commute home. That doesn't really make sense, but that's okay. And then again, building in your drive time. So again, just to make sure that you have enough time for all of these activities. Notice they also budgeted time for eating, time with family, all of those sorts of things. So again, your schedule isn't going to look exactly like this, but this is the idea. This is what we're going for. And again, just like creating a financial budget, we want to make sure we're accounting for all of the demands on our time so that we have enough time. Because what we're going to use the schedule to do is just to make sure that this course is the right course for us. So if you go through and create a schedule and realize that you've over budgeted your time, in other words, you have more demands on your time than you have time, then you're going to come to the conclusion that, you know what, this is not a good course for me to take, at least right now. And then maybe think about withdrawing from the course and taking it a different semester. So again, we want to make sure that this is a good choice for us. So that is the purpose of creating a schedule, to make sure that this is the right choice. So now that you have all of your other obligations filled in, we can plan study time for this course. The expectation of college courses is that you spend 2 hours outside of class studying for every hour you spend in class. In a full 15-week course, if you are taking a 3 credit hour class, this means you would be expected to spend 3 times 2 or 6 hours every week outside of lecture, outside of class on the subject. For a 4 credit hour class, you would be expected to spend 8 hours. If your course is an online asynchronous course with no lecture component, these numbers change to 9 hours a week for a 3 credit hour course and 12 hours a week. And the reason for this change is simply that this is the amount of time outside of class studying, right? Somebody taking a 3 credit hour class is spending 3 hours a week in class learning the material. If you don't have a lecture, then you're going to spend 3 plus 6 or 9 hours a week in class, or if it's a 4 credit hour class, 8 plus 4 or 12 hours. So that's the logic behind that. If you are taking an AMP course, a 6 credit hour AMP course, then this number jumps from 6 hours, right? 3 times 2 is 6, to 6 times 2, which would be 12 hours a week. If you are enrolled in a more abbreviated semester, you can figure out how many hours a week you should study using this formula. So you're going to take 30, multiply it by the number of credit hours. Usually most of our courses that we offer are either 3 or 4 credit hours, and then divide it by the number of weeks the course runs. So here is a brief list. You can pause this page if you need to figure out where you are. So for example, a 7-week, 3 credit hour class is 13 hours a week, and so on. Now, again, if any of these courses are online, meaning they don't have a lecture component, then you have to add back that lecture time that you would spend in class. So again, if you have a face-to-face class, these are the hours you're capturing. If you have an online course, these are the hours you're capturing. So again, feel free to pause this, figure out which of these, if any, applies to you, and then I'm going to move on. Okay, so what's going to happen is that either in class, if you have a face-to-face class, or if it's an online class, you might do this in a discussion board, you are going to first rate and revise your plan, and then once you've revised it, you're going to post it and other people are going to give you feedback. So there are 4 metrics that I want you to think about. The first thing is quantity. This is the most basic thing, right? So did you schedule the appropriate number of hours or more? You can budget more, just like, for example, let's say I know that my rent is $500 a month. I could budget more than that if I want to take extra money and put it towards a down payment on a house, right? So that would still be in the house budget or the cost of living budget. It's just that I'm saving up money in order to buy a house. Okay, so again, you can spend more time or budget more time. You just need at least the number of hours that I discussed in the previous slides. But in order to really study well, you need not just quantity, but quality. So think about when you're scheduling your study time. For example, if you plan to study for 2 hours after getting off a 12-hour shift, I don't know about you, but that's probably not going to work for me. After a 12-hour shift, I need to sit down and veg out and chill on my phone or watch TV or something like that. I don't have the capacity or the mental energy to study. Likewise, if you have, let's say you have children, let's say you have a family, if you are trying to study while you have small children that they're in your care, that's going to be very, very difficult because there's going to be a lot of distractions. Okay, so we're looking for quantity and quality, and then the other things we want to do is, first of all, we want to make sure that we have a reasonable plan. For example, if you didn't budget any time at all for any kind of rest or fun, well, that's not really reasonable. If you didn't spend or schedule any time for meals or sleep, basic needs like that, again, you can't do that. That's not going to be a reasonable plan that somebody can actually follow. And likewise, kind of goes along with reasonable, it needs to be sustainable. So let's pretend somehow you had a crazy schedule and you only allowed yourself 2 hours of sleep for a night. Maybe you can do that for a few days or a week. You can't do that for the entire semester probably. So again, quantity, quality, reasonable, sustainable. So take a minute, pause this video, look over that calendar that you just finished, that you just created, make sure that it meets these 4 criteria, okay, and then revise it if need be, and then you're going to either, like I said, if it's an online course, you're going to post your proposed schedule in Brightspace, or if it's a face-to-face course, when you come in, you're going to show that plan to to someone else in your class, and they are going to rate it on these 4 metrics.